Pickle, Chiffon Pie by Jolly Roger Bradfield. A long time ago there was a fat little king who ruled over the land as far as he could see in every direction. He was very wise, and his kingdom was a happy one. His wife, the queen, kept his castle spotless, and saw that his robes were cleaned and pressed. She was a very good cook, and she made him pickle chiffon pie every day. But everybody has problems. The king had a daughter. Oh, she was very nice and did whatever he asked her to do. But she was also very beautiful, and every prince in the neighborhood wanted to marry her. Every day they came to the palace with flowers and gifts for her. To be polite, she would ask them all to stay for supper, and that meant there would be less pickled chiffon pie for the king. That was his problem. Finally, one day, the king decided that his daughter should marry one of the princes. Then at least there'd be fewer people at the dinner table each night. He called for the three nicest princesses and told them that they would be put to a test and that the winner could marry the princess. The first Prince Musclebaum was very strong and brave. The princes liked him because he was tall and had wavy hair and freckles. The second, Prince Well-Read, was very smart. He could count up to 684, and he read books 3 inches thick. The princess liked him too, because he read beautiful stories to her and sometimes played music under her window at night. The third, Prince Bernard, wasn't very strong or very handsome or very smart, but the princess liked him best of all. She didn't really know why she liked him. Perhaps it was because he had a big smile and a funny nose. It's hard to tell about princesses. Look at, you got her flowers. The king told the three princes this: "You will each go into the huge forest at the end of the kingdom for 3 days. As you know, it is full of gazoos, fairies, dimdoozles, and all sorts of unusual things. The one who brings back the most unusual, the most marvelous, the most wonderful thing may marry the princess. Now remember, be back in 3 days." Musclebaum was delighted. Being stronger and braver than the others, he thought he would surely win. With a shout, he jumped onto his horse and galloped off in the directions of the forest. At first, he didn't see anything unusual. Just a few small dragons, a troll peeking out of a tree, a medium-sized giant, the usual things one sees in a forest. But finally, looking behind a huge boulder, he did see something different. A green and blue dragon with 3 heads toasting marshmallows. Now there's something you don't see every day, thought Prince Musclebaum. But I have 2 more days. I'll look a little bit more. On the second day, he saw a 4-wheeled dimdoozle with a pipe and wearing glasses. Now there's something different, thought Musclebaum. I've never seen a dimdoozle wearing glasses before, but I have 1 more day. I'll look a little bit more. On the third day, he saw something really different. A huge lion juggling 6 cans of root beer soup. He was wearing a velvet vest and roller skates. "This must surely be the most wonderful thing in the whole forest," cried Prince Musclebaum. Bravely he grabbed the lion's tail and started dragging him back toward the castle. Meanwhile, Prince Well-Read was searching too. The first day he spied a witch who could turn people into frogs, which really wasn't so special, except that she could do it with her eyes shut and one hand behind her back. Now there's something you don't see every day, thought Well-Read, but I have 2 more days. I'll look a bit more. On the third day he came upon something really different. A giant with a green beard playing chopsticks on 2 pianos. "This must surely be the most wonderful thing in the forest," cried Prince Well-Read. "I've never heard that tune before." He cleverly told the giant what a fine piano player he was and talked him into going back to the castle to play for the king. Now let's not forget Prince Bernard. He was searching too. On the first day he met an ogre, so ugly he scared the leaves right off the trees. Now there's something you don't see every day, thought Bernard, but he might frighten the princess if I brought him back. I have 2 more days. I'll look a little bit more. On the second day he discovered a tiny little house tucked behind a tree. He peeked in and saw that it was filled with mice, all busily painting the most wonderful pictures. Now there's something different, thought Bernard. But it really wouldn't be right to stop such happy, hard-working little fellows right in the middle of their work. I have one more day. I'll look a bit more. On the third day, he saw something really different. A three-nosed snoozle with fuzzy ears and an orange polka-dot necktie, and it was busy making pickle chiffon pie. This must surely be the most wonderful thing in the whole forest, he cried. I thought the queen was the only one who could make pickled chicken pie. Oh, the king will be so happy. With that, he grabbed the snoozle's necktie and started leading it back toward the castle. Prince Bernard had never been happier in his whole life. It was hard work pulling the three-nosed snoozle through the forest, but Prince Bernard didn't mind. He was sure he would win the contest to marry the princess. But he wasn't quite so happy when he saw how sad the snoozle looked. Don't feel bad, said Bernard. You'll like living at the palace. It's much nicer than the stark old forest, and anyway, I have to take you back in order to marry the princess. Then Bernard noticed several tiny snoozles peering out from behind trees. Why, aren't they cute? He said. Are they your children? The three-nosed snoozle nodded with big wet tears coming into its eyes. What will happen to them when you're gone? Do they have anybody to take care of them? The snoozle shook his head sadly. Prince Bernard sat right down on a log to think. He thought of his love for the princess. He thought of the snoozle's love for its children. For a long time it was very quiet and still in the forest. Finally, with a sigh, the prince let go of the snoozle's necktie and watched it scamper off. Then he turned and walked slowly toward the castle. His 3 days were up. When all the princes were called to appear before King Musselbaum had a smile on his face. He was sure that he would win with this juggling lion. Well-Red was smiling too. He was sure that he would win when the king heard the giant play his 2 pianos. Bernard hung his head sadly as he stood empty-handed behind the others. The king was delighted with Musselbaum's lighted. Wonderful! He cried as the lion juggled 23 apples and a bottle of ketchup. And when Well-Red's giant played chopsticks on his 2 pianos, the king laughed and clapped his hands in delight. How wonderful! He cried. So unusual! Then he turned to Bernard. And what have you brought back? He asked, and Prince Bernard bowed low before the king. He hoped that no one would notice the tears in his eyes as he raised his head and said softly, Nothing, your majesty. He told of meeting the ugly ogre who might have frightened the princess. He told of seeing the amazing mice who painting he could not bring himself to interrupt. He told of the tiny snoozle children, and that he could not bear to leave in the forest alone. There was silence in the castle, and no one spoke for a long time. Bernard wished that he could run and hide. Everyone was looking at him, all except the princess and the queen. They were whispering to the king. The king nodded his head and smiled. Bernard, he said in a loud voice, you have won the right to marry the princess. But why, your majesty? I didn't bring back anything, said Bernard. Oh, yes you did, my son, said the king. You brought back a story of kindness and love and consideration for others. Truly, the most wonderful thing of all. You'll make a fine husband for my daughter. When Bernard married the princess, Well-Red's giant played the wedding march, and Musselbaum's lion put on a special exhibition to entertain the guests. And guess who sent Bernard and the princess the biggest pickle chiffon pie anyone ever saw for a wedding present? That's right, the 3-nosed snoozle with fuzzy ears and the orange polka-dotted tie. The end.